All right, I'm going to say something, and you're probably not going to like it. So you can continue watching and challenge your sensibilities about things, or you can just shut me off and swipe now. I don't think the flag should have been lowered for Charlie Kirk. I was, for those of you who don't know me, a right-wing, radical, Republican, conservative, Christian right radio talk show host for 25 of my 33 years in talk radio. For 25 of those years, I was as right-wing as Charlie Kirk. So I've been there, done that. I have the T-shirt 10 times over, maybe 1,000 times over. I was very, 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 very right-wing and said a lot of the same things that Charlie Kirk has said. Those things now make me cringe, but I said them at the time and I believed them at the time. Now, having said all of that, I do not discount or belittle what happened to him 1 week ago today as I record this. In fact, I've done videos and lives telling you how affected I was by his unalivement. I unfortunately saw it actually happen when I didn't want to, but there are some social media platforms that don't warn you ahead of time when someone's about to be unalived on video, and they just show it to you without asking you if you want to see it. And it was one of the more horrible images in my head. That, along with the Twin Towers collapsing, I think are the two events of my lifetime that have really, really haunted me, and I can't get either image out of my head, unfortunately. I have done a little bit of research here, which is more than most Americans do. And generally speaking, the American flag is ordered to be flown at half-staff for the unalivement of presidents, former presidents, vice president, chief justice, retired chief justice, Speaker of the House, members of Congress, things like that, right? Even for members of Congress, it's supposed to be flown, I believe, for just like a couple of days. They even have rules. There's flag codes about this and how long the flag should be flown at half staff. It doesn't list celebrities on here, although exceptions have been made in the past for celebrities. But I want to ask you, especially if you are MAGA, especially if you are a fan of Charlie Kirk, a fan of this president and this administration, do you think the president would have ordered the lowering of the flag to half staff for Bill Maher, if this had happened to Bill Maher, or Stephen Colbert, or any number of left-leaning celebrities? Celebrities, podcasters, talk show hosts doing the similar shtick and spiel of Charlie Kirk over the years. Be honest. Do you think if that happened to Bill Maher instead of Charlie Kirk, would the president be running to lower the flags around the country to half staff? You know the answer to that if you're honest. You know the answer is absolutely not. He would not. He didn't even lower the flag. He didn't even order the flag lowered for the two Democrat politicians who lost their lives. He didn't even remember who they were. So just ask yourself this stuff. Just say to yourself, is he lowering the flags because Charlie Kirk was one of the above things that we listed? He wasn't any of those things. He's not on the Supreme Court. He's not a congressman. He's not a president, vice president. He's not the Speaker of the House. He's not a dignitary. Ultimately, whether you want to accept it or not, he was not a saint. He was not a martyr. He was certainly not a politician. He was a personality. He was a celebrity. The reason he gained so much importance from Trump is because Trump's election had a lot to do with Charlie Kirk pushing for his election and pushing for his agenda. And that's the reality of it. Again, if it had been Bill Maher, Stephen Colbert, if it had been Whoopie Goldberg, if it had been any of these other people, and they had unalived in the same circumstance and situation, you know what would have happened. Or better said, you know what wouldn't have happened. Drop a comment down below. Be honest. I'm honest with you. Be honest with me.